Hello, dear students. I, Mrs. Rajeshri Naik, welcomes you again in online lecture series arranged by Gokhale Education Society's BYK College of Commerce, Nasik. In the last online lecture, we have covered public expenditure, classification of public expenditure, and reasons for growth in public expenditure. So, students, in this lecture, we are going to study about structure of public finance at a glance. In that, public revenue, meaning sources of public revenue. In that, A, taxes, B, non-tax revenue, types of taxes, and non-tax revenue sources. And the last, expected questions. So let us study about public revenue. Public revenue means the aggregate collection of income with the government through various sources. Public revenue holds the permanent position in the study of public finance, which is part of study of economics. Thus, the necessity of public revenue arises due to public expenditure. The income of the government through all sources is called public revenue. Okay, the income of the government through all sources is called public revenue. According to Dalton, however, the term public income has two senses, wide and narrow. In its wider sense, it includes all the incomes or receipts which a public authority may secure during any period of time. And in its narrow sense, however, it includes only those sources of income of the public authority which are ordinarily known as revenue resources. To avoid ambiguity, thus the former is termed public receipts and the latter public revenue. As such, receipts from public borrowings, or we can say public debt, and from the sale of public assets are mainly excluded from public revenue. For instance, the budget of the government of India is classified into revenue and capital. Heads of revenue include the heads of income under the revenue budget, whereas the heads of income under the capital budget are termed as receipts. Thus, the term receipts includes sources of public income which are excluded from revenue. In a modern welfare state, public revenue is of two types, tax revenue and non-tax revenue. Okay, now let us study about what are the sources of public revenue. The main sources of public revenue are as follows. A, taxes, and B, non-tax revenue. Okay, now the first one, taxes. According to Professor Taussig, the essence of a tax is distinguished from other charges by government is the absence of a direct quid pro quo between the taxpayer and the public authority. And according to Professor Seligman, a tax is a compulsory contribution from the person to the government without reference to special benefits conferred. Taxes constitute a significant part of public revenue in modern public finance. Okay, so taxes have macroeconomic effects. What I said, taxes have macroeconomic effects. Taxation can affect the size and mode of consumption, pattern of production, and distribution of income and wealth. Progressive taxes can help in reducing inequalities of income and wealth by lowering the high income group's disposable income. By disposable income is meant the income left in the hands of the taxpayer for disbursement after tax payment. Okay, what do you mean by disposable income? Disposable income means the income left in the hands of the taxpayer for disbursement after tax payment. So taxes imply a forced saving in a developing economy. Thus, taxes constitute an important source of development finance. Okay, now let us see some characteristics. Okay, a tax possesses following essential characteristics. Number one, it is a compulsory contribution to the government, and every citizen of the country is legally bound to pay the tax imposed upon him. It is a major source of revenue to the government. If any person does not pay a tax, he can be punished by the government. Okay, now second characteristics. Tax is paid by a taxpayer to enable government to incur expenses in the common interest of the society. Third characteristics. The payment of tax by a person does not entitle him to receive any direct or proportionate benefits or services from the government in return for the tax. Fourth one, tax is imposed on income, property, or commodities and services. So this is all about the essential characteristics which possessed by the tax. Okay, now let us study about types of taxes. There are two main types of taxes. They are direct tax and indirect tax. Now about direct tax. It is paid by the taxpayer on his income and property. The burden of tax is borne by the person on whom it is levied, as he cannot transfer the burden of the tax to others. Impact and incidence of direct tax falls on the same person. For example, personal income tax, wealth tax, etc. Okay, now second type, indirect tax. It is levied on goods or services. It is paid at the time of production or sale and purchase of a commodity or a service. The burden of an indirect tax can be shifted by the taxpayer, means by the producer, to other persons. Hence, impact and incidence of tax are on different heads. For example, newly implemented goods and services tax, means GST, in India has replaced almost all indirect taxes, custom duty, etc. Okay, now students, let us study about non-tax revenue resources or non-tax revenue sources. Public revenue received by the government administration, public enterprises, gifts and grants, etc. are called as non-tax revenue. These sources are different than the taxes. A brief information about these sources are as follows. Number one, fees. A tax is paid compulsorily without any return service, whereas fee is paid in return for certain specific services rendered by the government. For example, education fee, registration fee, etc. When the government charges some amount from a person to confer upon some special benefits to him, it is called as fee. When the government charges some amount from a person to confer upon some special benefits to him, it is called as fee. Though money received is used in providing benefits to others, but the payers get special benefits. Professor Seligman defined fee as, okay, what Professor Seligman says, that the payment to defray the cost of each recurring service undertaken by the government, primarily in the public interest, but conferring a measurable special advantage on the fee payer. So, in other words, we can say such payments are charged primarily to create public welfare, but payer gets direct and particular benefit. For example, a student pays the fee to get education in the institution which is run by the government. So fees are different from the prices paid by the people. What I said, fees are different from the prices paid by the people. Number one, Fees are compulsory payments, but the prices are voluntary payments. Fees are byproducts and administrative functions, whereas prices are paid for the goods and services produced by the government concerns. Fees are predetermined, but the prices are paid according to the quantity of goods and services which are used by an individual. Okay, now next source. Prices of public goods and services. Modern governments sell various types of commodities and services to the citizens. A price is a payment made by the citizens to the government for the goods and services sold to them. For example, railway fares, postal charges, etc. Now, third source, special assessment. A payment made by the citizens of a particular locality in exchange for certain special facilities given to them by the authorities is known as special assessment. Special assessments are charged by the government for those who are going to benefit directly from some expenditure income from the public exchequer. For example, when government builds a road, provides street lighting, drainage, etc., it may enhance the value of the nearby house properties. The owner may get benefit since the rental value of such properties is bound to improve after the provision of such public facilities. The government, in order to compensate its expenditure, imposes some kinds of levy from those who were benefited. Okay, the government, in order to compensate its expenditure, imposes some kinds of levy from those who were benefited. Professor Seligman said that a compulsory contribution levied in proportion to the special benefit derived to defray the cost of specific improvement to property undertaken in the public interest. Now, let us see the features of special assessment. Number one, first feature, the special benefit conferred upon can be measured. Okay. Second feature, there is an element of special purpose in it. Third feature, special assessments are proportional to the cost of benefit provided. Fourth feature, the aim of levying such assessment is to provide special benefit to the people in the society. Now the next resource or next source, fines and penalties. The government imposes fines and penalties on those who violate the laws of the country. The objective of the imposition of fines and penalties is not to earn income, okay, but to discourage the citizens from violating the laws framed by the government. This is another small source of public revenue. Fines and penalties are imposed upon the persons who do not abide by law. Okay, it is used to discourage and deter the acts of crime. It is a kind of punishment to the persons who infringe the existing law of the state. For example, fines for violating traffic rules, but however, the income from this source is small. Okay, so next source, gifts, grants, and donations. The government may also earn some income in the form of gifts by the citizens and others. The government may also receive grants from the foreign governments and institutions for general and specific purposes. Foreign aid has become an important source of development finance for a developing country like India. However, the source of revenue is uncertain in nature. Okay, in other words, we can say that gifts and grants are the voluntary contributions to the exchequer by the following types of contribution. Number one is individuals, and second, distributions, organizations, business houses, etc. Such contributions are made by the people who are charity-minded and seek to help others by way of such contributions. Such contributions are subscribed to the charity funds, relief funds, and other national funds. And the source of revenue has a significant role to play during the time of emergencies or contingencies. Okay, so next source, special levies. Okay, this is levied on those commodities the consumption of which is harmful to the health and well-being of the citizens, like fines and penalties. The objective is not to earn income, but to discourage the consumption of harmful commodities by the citizens. For example, duties levied on wine, opium, and other intoxicants. So next source and the last one, borrowings. The government can borrow from the people in the form of deposits, bonds, etc. It also gets loans from foreign governments and organizations such as IMF. IMF means what? International Monetary Fund and World Bank, etc. So loans are becoming more and more popular source of revenue for the governments in the modern time. So students, this is all about today's lecture. Now, expected questions. Answer the following. Explain the types of taxes. And question number 2, explain non-tax sources of the revenue of the government. Okay, so students, in today's lecture, we have studied meaning of public revenue, sources of public revenue, types of taxes, and non-tax revenue sources. In the next online video lecture, we will go with next part of chapter number 8. Till then, have a great time. Thank you.